Hey makers out there, welcome to part 3 of building the mini frame. For this step we are going to need our stud mounts, our wood screws, and the 6-foot boards from the previous step. The first step to attaching our stud mounts is to mark where they're going to go. So from that center line on our top and bottom beam, we're going to measure out 26.5 inches on each board. So on each side, we're going to measure out 26.5 inches and then mark and then draw a straight line on those marks. On the outside of each one of those lines, we're going to place a stud mount. And the stud mounts are going to be oriented with the smaller angle on top and the base, the larger angle, pressed all the way against our beam. Now when you're attaching your stud mounts, you want to make sure that they stay exactly on that line and also are perpendicular with the beam. It's very important that each one of the mounts is perpendicular with the beam, because if it's not, then your M2 will not cut properly. So we recommend using a speed square to ensure that each one of them are straight. And you can put the screws in diagonal holes little by little, kind of like changing a tire or a drum head, to make sure that that angle doesn't move and skew side to side. It's super important and vital that it stays perpendicular with the top beam. If there's a little bit of a gap on the top or the bottom, that's fine, but you want to make sure that the larger gap is always on the top. So that's why it's also nice to kind of push the base of the stud mount into the beam while you're screwing it in. And then check your work. If you have to back some of the screws out and put them back in, that's completely fine. This is one of the most important parts of building our frame. Once you have your stud mounts attached to the outside of each one of those 26.5 inch lines on your top and bottom beams, then we're ready for the next step of building our mini frame.